Hello, everybody. We are going to get started. Please take your seats. Finish up your conversation. Woo. Hi. Welcome to Forward Montana's 2023 Mayoral Candidate Forum. Don't know why that was so hard coming out. My name is Jana. I am the Missoula Field Manager. My pronouns are they, them.
Hello, my name is Izzy. I'm the Senior Advocacy Manager at Forward Montana. My pronouns are also they, them.
Yeah, we are so excited to be hosting this event for all of you today, to be able to talk to your mayoral candidates this year for the primaries. First of all, a little bit about Forward Montana. We are a nonpartisan nonprofit statewide that focuses on building power with and for young people around issues they give a shit about. Some of these issues include affordable housing, queer and trans rights, climate, and so many others that really engage young people and really impact our futures. Through our work, we do voter registration and voter mobilization. We do issue work, and then we also do a community organizing fellowship, both for high school age students and for folks who are over 18, just building foundational community organizing skills and learning a little bit how to build power in communities and learn how to make informed votes on our ballots. If any of that sounds interesting to you, come chat with us after this forum. We love getting people involved. We love making politics feel more accessible and fun and sexy, and yeah, that's what we're all about. Now, why we're all here today? The 2023 municipal election primaries are coming up on September 12th here in Missoula. We have the mayoral race that is going to be primaried. This year it is an all-male ballot election. That means regardless if you're an absentee ballot voter, you will be getting a ballot in the mail. If you do need to update your voter registration, we have voter registration forms here. Come see us, but you will need to take those into the county elections office yourself to get a ballot. We can tell you how to do that. The county elections office is up at Russell and Wyoming Street, but it is a really important election. We love primaries. The general election is going to be November 7th. After the primaries, we will be narrowing our mayoral candidates to 2. And so, yeah, we're excited to be here today for those of you who don't know who you're going to vote for yet or want to learn a little bit more about what these folks have to say. So with that, I will pass it over to Izzy.
Cool. So yes, as you can see, we have 5 candidates here. Only 2 of them will move forward after the primary, coming right up. You might be wondering, what does the mayor do? The mayor oversees all of the city departments, all city staff, ensures that city policy and services are delivered in a manner that is effective and efficient and equitable. And they drive policy for the city that really determines what Missoula looks like. Missoula has what we call a strong mayor, which means they have a little more power than they do in some places, and they do have some decision-making responsibility, more than just being a figurehead. So yeah, we have all of our candidates here tonight, which is very exciting. And before we dive into our spicy questions, we are going to give them all 2 minutes to introduce themselves. This is also a great opportunity for candidates to practice following our time limits. You will see this 30-second reminder, and you will see this time's up reminder, and we will cut you off, so pay attention to this. Woo!
Also, just some quick community guidelines. We are not here to police people on your reactions to these candidates. That being said, we are not tolerating any outbursts that are rooted in racism, homophobia, hate, and also everybody here wants to listen to our candidates' answers and wants to learn more about what they're actually what platforms they're standing on. So if you can keep some of your outbursts to the ends of their questions, that would be great. Because we also have a bunch of people on Instagram Live. Hey, Instagram Live. And that's what we gotta say. Just don't be a dick. And with that, we are going to go ahead and get started. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to just give a quick intro about who they are. And we will start with Shawn here. Each question will just change up the order of who gets to answer first and who gets to answer last. And on that note, let's get going.
Last time we had a horrible mic problem. Hi, my name is Shawn Knopp, independent running for mayor. I am born in Polson, raised in Missoula, spent a few years abroad and came back luckily in 2000. Came home, was fortunate enough to buy a restaurant and be able to move home. I've been a project manager for the last 17 years for Montana Glass. Spent a lot of years donating my time and resources to Little League, been board of directors on a couple of different organizations. I was a coach of Little League for 20-some years. Love the kids, been involved in Boy Scouts, Kiwanis. Looking to be your mayor. I think I have something to offer that we need here, so that's my spiel.
Thanks, Shawn. My name is Mike Nugent. I am born and raised in Missoula, and I'll get into why I'm running for mayor in a moment, but I do want to say that it's been a lot of fun to be part of this conversation, and I think that we're lucky right now in Missoula to be able to have several quality candidates and have a good conversation, because that we haven't had kind of that open seat in a long time. So I really appreciate people putting together things like this and letting us all be part of this together, and look forward to hearing people's thoughts and hearing what my I keep wanting to call you all colleagues, so we're just going to go with that, have to say. So my name is Mike Nugent. Like I said, I'm born and raised here in Missoula. My wife Stacy and I are raising our 2 wonderful kids, attending some of the same schools that I did. My daughter's actually starting kindergarten next week, so we're at a big turning point. But raising kids in a place like Missoula, you realize how lucky we all are to live here, and how so much of that great opportunity is because people have worked so hard to make this place special. But it also is a good reminder that there are concerns that maybe our kids, yours, mine, your grandkids, the people that make Missoula special that work here can't afford to live here now. And some of those opportunities that I had growing up might not be there for my children. And that drives a little bit of why I want to be mayor, because I think we need to face those challenges head on. I have been in the Missoula community involved for my whole life. President United Way, I've served in a lot of boards, currently serve on city council. I've been there for about 2 years, work in the real estate world, so I've seen kind of the private, the nonprofit, the public sectors, and I'm ready to have this good conversation with all of you about Missoula and our challenges and opportunities.
I'm Brandi Atanasoff, and born and raised in Missoula. I got into this because kind of previously I have been doing some public relations work over the last few years, and our city is having big discussions, and we don't always know how to have those big discussions, and I found myself in the middle of big discussions in places where we should not be leading in a partisan manner, but we should be leading in a nonpartisan manner. In most of our discussions that we're leading to protect our peers and to protect who we are as an individual town, they shouldn't be tied to politics. And so I started trying to bring in these points of views so that everyone understands that in order for us to make big progress on all of these things that we want to do, we have to do it together. And we cannot be blaming each other back and forth. So I'm standing and saying the things that don't normally get said at these things so that we all as a community can show that we are inclusive. We are inclusive completely. And sometimes I say things and you're like, that lady sounds a little whatever. But what we all get to do is stand together and hear each other's points of view. And if my points of view make you feel like I'm something that I'm not, then you get to show me inclusiveness. And I get to show you inclusiveness. And we get to be inclusive.
Hi everyone, I'm Jordan Hess. I'm the current mayor of Missoula. It is an absolute honor and a privilege to serve as Missoula's mayor. And a little bit about myself. I came to Missoula in 2005. I was born in North Dakota, but mostly grew up in Helena. And came to Missoula to go to school and just fell in love with our beautiful, vibrant community. I was studying geography and ended up getting involved in the downtown master plan in the early 2000s. And this notion that we could plan what we wanted our community to look like was this totally new concept to me, and got me really interested in local government, and got me really interested in serving our community, got me really interested in politics. I had a short stint at Forward Montana, and did some community organizing in the climate sphere, and then applied for a vacant position on the city council in 2011. I didn't get that, but I got the bug, and I ran for office in 2013, and I was elected 3 times to the city council. During that time, I worked at the University of Montana and served as the transportation director at UM, and was appointed mayor September 12th last year when John Engen passed away last year. I have just been blown away by what an amazing experience it is. We live in an incredible community. People care so deeply about people and about place, and it's just a privilege to show up every day and try to make our community a little bit better place. I live on the west side with my partner Catherine and our dog Nimby. That got politicized a little bit at the last photo, but I assure you he chased a squirrel out of our backyard when we brought him home. And I'm an acronym in policy wonk. So, but we were able to buy our house after being longtime renters. We had a roommate, we had my income, we had my council stipend, we had my partner's income, and it was a stretch for us. And if it was a stretch for us, and if I was a mayor with a roommate, that sort of gave me a view into our housing situation that I feel like I'm incredibly privileged, and there's a lot of people that we're leaving behind, and I want to work for those people.
Thank you, Mayor Hess. Hi, everybody. My name is Andrea Davis, and my name is pronounced Andrea, so a good way to think of it is Andrea Famea. This is my home state. I am born and raised in Montana, and I've called Missoula my home for 25 years. And I grew up in Kalispell to working class parents. My mom was a union waitress, so really proud to be here in the Union Hall. And because of that, we had a form of stability even with low-wage workers. And we had an affordable place to live in Kalispell where we had a good house, it was in a good neighborhood, and I biked to school and I knew my neighbors and we had room to actually grow a garden. And I went to excellent public schools. And I graduated from Flathead Valley Community College with no debt and was able to come down to the University of Montana and graduate here with very little debt. And that launched me into a successful life. And it's because of that I want to run for Missoula's mayor, and why I want to be your next mayor. Because I want that opportunity for all Missoula's kids. I want the opportunity for Missoulians to thrive and not just survive. My career has been spent building homes that Missoulians and Montanans can afford. I've been doing this work for 22 years. That includes work at the Missoula Housing Authority, and then 15 years as the executive director of Homeward. And that work has really shown me the ability to work across the spectrum in terms of different relationships and different communities across the state. And it's one of the areas that obviously is sorely needed here in Missoula, and I'm excited to put that to work for you. I live in the Franklin to Fort neighborhood with my husband, Dennison. And we love to get out and do all sorts of recreation and do all the things that Missoulians love to do, including bust a move down here at the Union Club.
Yeah!
folks in the back, we do have some chairs up here. There's also some chairs we can set up. I want everybody to have a seat if they want one. There's a couple little spots throughout, so I want to give folks a couple seconds to cycle through. Happy to see all of your faces today. Woo! On that note, we are gonna go into some of our longer form questions. Now, we do want to leave a lot of time for audience questions and for our Hot Ones game. Woo! These next questions are going to be a minute. Keep it short and sweet, y'all. And I'm excited to hear what you have to say. So let's get rolling. First question. Through the mayor's office, the city of Missoula engages the wider community in a number of ways, including the Engagement Missoula website and the city's community engagement specialists who organize and facilitate conversations and events around pressing local issues. That being said, barriers still exist for a lot of young people and other people in Missoula to actually accessing and meaningfully engaging with local government. If elected, how do you plan to expand community engagement in local government through the mayor's office? And Mike, we'll get started with you.
All right, thanks for that question. I think that communication in the city is well-intended, but it's outdated. And I think that a lot of that outreach starts with how we get our message out. As a city, there are some departments that are doing well on platforms like social media, but as a whole, I don't think we're reaching people in all places that people are. And that includes Instagram, that includes Facebook, that includes some of the other platforms as well. And I think that some of that is just the reality of the city always has tight budgets and staffing, but some of it also is just embracing the new way of communicating. And I think a lot of us up here have worked either in the nonprofit world or the private world, and you've had to kind of go and find people where they are. And that's kind of the way the world works. And I think the city needs to catch up to that. And we have taken some good steps. We've got outreach coordinators, we've got people doing good work, especially around our code reform process. And that's something we can all be proud of. But I think that it starts with kind of acknowledging, hey, we can do better. And there are efforts underway to do some better planning.
We'll be changing throughout the night.
I won't be relaxed. Probably not.
Well, so I had some experience in the office and neighborhoods within the city of Missoula in college, and one thing that already exists in the city is neighborhood councils. So each neighborhood council is meant to be built up by the neighbors that live in each neighborhood council. So every super engaged person has a neighborhood council. The neighborhood councils have access to small grants, they have access to a budget, they have access to meeting spaces. And when I was working there, we used them a lot for departments to go and give information and get opinions about what was going on. So when used like that, you are empowered and you are in control, and you invite departments to talk about things you want to voice them.
Thanks. So on a continuum of engagement, there's informing, which is kind of like, we're going to do this to you. There's consulting, maybe a little bit of a dialogue. There's collaborating, and then I think there's shared decision making and shared ownership. And that's what I'm really interested in, is how can we have a shared definition of success? So much of our processes are based on, you come to a public meeting and you talk at someone, and we really need to get more into the one-on-one. This campaign has surprised me at how much, some of my campaigns in the past, people didn't answer their phone, they didn't like the one-on-one, and now I think one-on-one is coming back. Our code reform engagement specialist is here in the room and does a fantastic job of just engaging with people one-on-one. They go where people are. We have these new city chats in the park, which are come drop by a park, chat with your city employees. I think pop-up events like this, of course, engaging on social media in a different way. Yikes.
Where's the equitable buzzing?
Yeah, well, gotta be watched.
Okay, ready? Okay, go. This this is a communications question. How do we engage people more readily? And there's always opportunity for improvement around communications. And I think that the city has done a good job of changing some things with something like the Engage Missoula website. But so many people I know don't even know how to use it, or it's there, or that it's available, there's information. I personally had a challenge accessing it and getting my account loaded up, and the news loved to cover that back a couple years ago, which was a bit more drama than it was really worth. But honestly, if we're going to connect with young people, we need to meet them where they're at, and that's social media. And the city is going to need to invest in somebody that can actually respond to social media. I can tell you that that's probably not going to be me directly, but I would have somebody that would help me do that, because that's really where people are at. Secondly, I got to tell you that knocking on doors has been so amazing, and having the opportunity to continue to meet with people one-on-one, sort of a long table concept where people can come in and share ideas outside of the formal city council process is what I'm into. Thank you. I can talk fast.
Were you an auctioneer in another life?
I have done that.
So, being the old person on the council here, I come from a place where you got your media from 3 TV stations. A lot has changed since then. We need to get media out there, but we also have to get the community to engage. If you don't look for it, you're not going to find it. We can't get to everybody. As campaigners, we know how hard it is to reach everybody out there. As a city, it's even harder. So you have to be engaged, we have to be engaged to get the message out there.
Thanks for answering that one, everyone. Now we've got a good sense of what a minute feels like, I hope. We'll see how it goes. So years ago, Missoula passed a conservation and climate plan to be carbon neutral by 2025. That is in 2 years. Is this feasible, and what are your plans to get Missoula back on track towards long-term sustainability? Brandi, we'll start with you.
Thank you. Great question. So here's where I'm at. Missoula is amazing. We are ambitious. We are all super ambitious, and we're all pumped up to support things. And I really would like to honestly answer and say that I would like to say how much money we have and what resources we have to access, and not make promises that aren't justifiable. Department heads and people that work within departments think about this question all the time. Incentives can be given across the city to research and do big things. We can promote, we can create awards, but we get to work together and choose on what we put our money into so that we can all be in the same family, because we are.
So my top 3 priorities: climate, equity, housing. We are working on climate diligently, and every single decision, it is our goal to have climate as a lens in every single decision. We are going to hire, the council approved my budget, which had an electrification specialist in it. This is a person who will help electrify buildings and transportation systems in Missoula, and we're going to get that position hired as quickly as we can. The 2025 commitment is extraordinarily ambitious. It was made a long time ago, and we didn't make enough progress. We can get there through through purchasing some credits or things like that. That's not a long-term solution. We have to move the needle on 100% clean electricity. We have to move the needle on all of our other climate work. There's really good work going on in that area. Climate is truly one of my biggest priorities, and something that I'm very interested in advancing aggressively.
Thank you. I agree 100%. We are in for needing to make incredible progress in this area. And 2025 is around the corner. We need to work and strive for it. We're not going to get there because we did have a pandemic in this time. I would say though that when you prepare yourself and you have the opportunity to go after things, like we have at Mountain Line. I've been on that board for 11 years, and we made a goal to be tailpipe emissions free by 2035. And we'll be 57% there when we have 2 more buses delivered next year in 2024. We already have another $10 million grant that'll get us 93% there in 2026. That's one major aspect. Going after large federal investments is the only way that Missoula is going to be able to turn the needle on this. And so when we need to think global and act local, it is every day, all day, in finding solutions that will actually help us stop putting so much carbon into the atmosphere. Thank you.
So the heart of the question is, are we going to get there? No, we're not going to get there by 2025.
Yeah.
We don't have time. We don't have the resources. And even if we did, I mean, everybody here has probably seen the Northwest Energy's proposal is to put more coal burning furnaces in place. So we're not going to get there. Instead of spending money on research and stuff, we need to be putting this money towards solar panels on our homes. We could be saving each homeowner money on their bill and investing that money here instead of researching how we're going to get there. Because Northwestern Energy is not going to get us there. We can work with them to get us grants and tax rebates and stuff to get us there. But the only way we're ever going to get there is by getting solar panels on our roofs. We can't have, I mean, do you want the South Hills covered in solar panels?
Yes! My ward. Yes! The buzzer starts and stops. All right. Since we only have a minute, I will say yes and yes and yes. I think the city's doing great things. I'm proud of what council's been doing on this front, and we need to continue doing that. There's never been a better time to position ourselves to go after climate money than there is right now. The bills that Congress has passed the last couple of years have changed the game in things that the city can do and things that the city is currently doing and working on, and we need to keep positioning ourselves for that. We also need to find ways to help people individually. So the county had a really successful program that's encouraging solar panels with good loans. Shawn actually hit the nail on the head on trying to encourage more of that and find ways to incentivize and help people do it. And also we need to embrace composting. There are some exciting things going on in this town, and that is something that Missoula can and should do better, and I'm committed to working with our partners to get that done. No beep snap.
Quick reminder to our candidates to keep the mic as close to your mouth as you can so that our friends on the internet and in the back can hear you.
Yes. Next question. As all of you know, people across Missoula are in the midst of a housing crisis. If elected, what municipal policies or actions will you advocate for to support more affordable renting opportunities for low and middle income folks?
So I'm bringing a policy to the Missoula Redevelopment Agency that would require applicants for tax increment financing to make a contribution to our Affordable Housing Trust Fund. That's coming in the next couple of weeks. And that is on top of some work to sell, that when we sell city-owned land, that goes into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. We anticipate getting $5 million this year into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, which will be significantly more than we ever have in the past. And we need to keep building that. Our housing policy, A Place to Call Home, has a number of strategies. So it's land banking. It's holding on to city land and redeveloping it in a beneficial manner. And that's resulted in some really good partnerships. It is partnering with developers who use low-income housing tax credits. We got 400 new units through the Bellagio and Trinity online this year as a result of that, including 30 permanently supportive units. It is aggressively going after funding opportunities, and it is aggressively targeting income-qualified units. We also...
So on that note, aggressively going after more homes, that's what we're going to have to do in order for people earning low and moderate wages to actually afford rent at this point, because our market has turned an incredible corner. I mean, we are in a different place. We, as a municipality, what can we do? We need to obviously continue working on our growth policy and our development code in order to make homes easier to develop. There's that. The city needs to create that kind of foundation. Secondly, we need to advocate all day, every day at the legislature, and they need to hear from the Missoula mayor that we need state legislation in order to leverage more federal and private dollars to build more public-private projects. Like the Trinity Apartments, which I currently have under construction in my role as Executive Director of Homeward, and we are leasing up those 202 apartments as I speak. And the opportunity there for a municipality is to utilize the funds that Mayor Hess just talked about, where you have local dollars that can leverage more public and private dollars to build properties that are truly deed-restricted affordable. I would love for the market to address this issue, and we will work all day long to make that happen, but the reality is we need to make sure we have homes that are truly affordable to our workforce.
So I'll keep mine short. I ditto everything she just said. We got to have title deeded homes. I would like to work with Missoula Redevelopment Agency to work with down payment loans, for first-time home buyers. We just need more. That's all we need.
Can I have his time too? So again, ditto. We have to focus on the problem across the board, and that includes being great partners anytime there's an opportunity to do a low-income housing tax credit project. And there are people in the community who are willing to work with us on that. We also have to make sure we are working on housing that people who do not qualify for subsidies can afford, because there is a giant gap right now between people who can qualify for subsidies and what we can offer and what people and workers can afford. And that's true for rentals, but that's also true for home ownership, which is the only way most Americans build any sort of financial security. So we need to work on this across the board. It is not going to be the public alone, but the low-income housing tax credit project have to be part of our solution, because it takes some of our most vulnerable out of a very scary market. And I'm committed to doing everything we just talked about, and looking forward to working with you all no matter what role I'm in next year.
Right on.
So over the last couple of years, I've talked to several cities that had experienced what we have with the inflation of the price of housing. And the ones that did not have renters protected, you know, everybody, I mean, you see it, we're all scattering as fast as we can, but if we don't put some kind of cap down and protections down as soon as possible, we're going to escalate past people being able to live here. And so the most important thing to me is to cap this off before people that work here and live here can live here any longer. Sorry, I don't remember. It's a blank one. So. Okay, great.
Yes, I will say one more reminder. Please keep the mic close to your face. And I will pass this next question over to Izzy. Got it figured out now. All right. Stop. Recently, many residents around Missoula have been advocating for policies to expand tenants' rights and access to safe, affordable, and secure housing. Some of these proposals include a universal rental application, tenants' right to counsel, so to receive no or low-cost legal representation when facing eviction, and tenants' first right to buy, so first right to buy the property they live in if it's being sold, and strengthening displacement protections for renters through the Missoula Redevelopment Agency. Which of these, if any, would you support as mayor, and why?
Hey, great. As mayor, I would support all of them. I will say that we have the ability locally to affect a few things. My organization has actually worked on a universal credit check and a universal application process. It is more complicated than it should be, and I'm happy to talk about that later, but there is opportunity for us to find our property management and landlord partners and figure out ways that we can actually help them alleviate some of their capacity challenges with doing some of that work. But we have to pay for that. Somehow we have to pay for that. And I would think we could bring the private market into that fold. Secondly, the tenants' rights to purchase is a wonderful thing. I sit on the board of directors. I'm the chair of NeighborWorks Montana that just helped Wolf Street Apartments. Woo, woo, woo. Yeah, way to go. Thank you. It's so exciting to see that. This is an opportunity for us where it would be wonderful to scale that opportunity up. I will
support any and all of that. Again, we have to pay for it. So we would have to go after some private funding because, as you know, our taxes are going up again this year. People are being taxed out of their homes. Every time your taxes go up, your rent goes up as well. So we need to find a way to curb the whole ebb and flow of this thing. If we can get everything done and keep that from raising your taxes, then I would support all of that.
Thanks for giving me more time. All right. I echo what everyone said. I agree 100%. The universal application is absolutely something that makes sense. There's no reason that the private sector would embrace it. There's no reason that public housing would embrace it. It's crazy that it's so difficult, and it's something we all need to work on. I actually advocated in the state legislature for the bill that you referenced on giving tenants of mobile park homes the opportunity to have first right of refusal to buy their home. I advocated against the housing industry. So for anybody who's concerned about that, when we have to take a stand, I think Missoula is ready to do that. I would agree with everything else that we said in there. I think that there are good landlords and there are bad landlords. And we need to make sure that we are helping the most vulnerable in Missoula avoid or or when they are dealing with bad landlords, we need to be able to help them. And any protection we can offer, that's what we're going to have to do. A lot of it, unfortunately, is advocating at the state level because our hands are tied locally, but we should fight the fights that are worth fighting.
So one of the first things that I want to do, if elected, is to put policy down immediately, to find out what is the policy that can most effectively contain the escalation of rent prices and throw it down. Because sometimes we get distracted, we do things that don't get it done. And so at the end of the day, there are some things like the universal application, I probably wouldn't put energy in that right away. I would probably go directly in and try to get settlements for people that were kicked out of their rentals because property was sold, and find out exactly what needs to happen to create some kind of container from people getting kicked out of their places here in Missoula.
So I'm on the board of the Mayoral Center, and we had a story from a community member at a board meeting recently of someone who was homeless, and while homeless had $800 of rental application fees that they had accrued before they were finally accepted into a place. The universal application is a no-brainer. It's something, all of these require a state law change, or they require collaboration and partnership. And one of the things the city is really good at is convening and create, getting the right people in the room. And so we can play that role with regard to a lot of these if we can get them done voluntarily. We really have to keep working at the state level in order to keep pushing. And the one thing I'll say is I meet with other mayors around the state regularly, and conservative or not, there is uniform disgust with the legislature right now, and there is this increasing desire to work together across the aisle as cities and as towns. And I think we can seize an opportunity not only in this arena but in other areas in the coming legislative session. And I keep working on building those bridges.
Thanks, y'all. All right, final prepared question before we move on to audience questions. The City of Missoula has been going through the process of approving the mayor's city budget for 2024. What programs in our community will you advocate for receiving more funding in future budget years?
Good one. As you know, your taxes are going to go up about 10% again this year. So we have some hard decisions to make in the future as to what programs we are going to consider. Question is, do you want to pay more taxes or do you want to pay less taxes? That's going to be the big question. More? All right. And it has to be across the board. Everybody has to pay more. We need to have, honestly, if I could run the world right now, we'd have flat taxes. Everybody pay the same percentage.
Pay more!
Well, they would pay more.
If you said flat.
It is flat. If you make $100, you pay 5%. You pay $5. If you make $5 million and you pay 5%.
10% of the same as 10% of Elon Musk.
All right. All of that. The simple answer is anything that helps our housing situation in a meaningful way that actually helps Missoulians is worth investing in. I think we need to make sure that we're not just spending money to say we're helping, but to find ways to actually help. And I think that we are on the right path on that in a lot of ways. I see Councilman Carlino back there, and he constantly talks about how we need to fund the Affordable Housing Trust Fund more.
And less cost.
And we do need to do that. And I think we need to be committed to things like that we have a track record of working on. And from there, we are going to have tough budget decisions. Whether we raise taxes or not, we have $4 million in our budget this year that's paid for by ARPA funds or remittance from the MRA. So on top of whatever increases we have in expenses this coming year, we have $4 million more that we're going to have to come up with ways to address and take care of. So this is going to be a tough budget season, but housing is my priority.
Cut police funding.
So So I didn't run to stand up here and tell you what I'm going to do. So what I ran to do is say that you are a community and we make choices together. And what happens when we don't know how to make choices together and have conversations? We just start doing this back and forth. You know, we have our community structures that are meant to help us have these conversations. And when we do them on a regular basis, then we excel. We excel at having conversations. We excel at feeling comfortable in our environment. You know, we're all a little attacky sometimes because we don't get together and have conversations with diverse ideas on a regular basis. And we feel like we need to snap at each other instead of have civil conversations. So if elected, I would make sure the neighborhood councils brought itemized budget reports that everyone had conversations about and learned how to give their opinions to their neighbors and navigate listening to theirs.
Yeah.
Our tax system in the state of Montana is fundamentally broken. Property taxes are the most regressive tax, and renters and low-income people pay more than people at the top, and that's wrong. This legislature had a tax shift from to residences from all of the other property tax classes. So pipelines, pollution control, telecom, utilities. All of these are paying less taxes next year, and that is what drove the tax increase. It is a tax shift. It's a tax rise for residents and for small businesses, but it is a tax shift, and we have to get out around that. And unless and until we have meaningful tax reform at the state level, we are going to struggle to keep the lights on in local government, and we're going to struggle to meet our priorities. So we have to keep sounding the alarms about that, about meaningful new sources of revenue, and about ways to fund local government.
Thank you. Agreed. Standing here today, given that our budget was just increased by 9.7% and where property owners and renters are feeling the pinch with rising costs, in addition to where we just had a double-digit increase last year, I can't say I would raise anything right now. Not until I get in office and I can figure out what's actually happening with the budget in all different departments. So right now, I couldn't say that I would raise the budget until I have the opportunity to dig in.
Keep on the police.
All right, thank you all. I also want to give another shout out to folks who are in the hall. We definitely have room. There are more folding chairs we can bring up here. I would love for folks, if you want to stand, or if you want to sit instead of stand. There's also a few seats if people want to point them out. Just give a moment for folks to file in.
Jana.
And we will be moving to community and audience questions. Boy.
Jana.
Oh.
Sure.
Perfect. All right.
Hi, y'all. I'm Devin Filichikia, he, him pronouns. I'm the civic education organizer with Forward Montana, so I do a lot of the high school programs that the organization runs. Live in Missoula. This is one of the questions that comes from one of the folks in the audience. I'm a city employee who is often in the middle of camp cleanup conversations that feel very dehumanizing. Would any of you support sensitivity training for city employees who respond to our houseless neighbors?
Yeah. So is it just a minute each? Is that how it works?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
All right. The short answer to that is yes. What is going on in our city right now is horrible for everybody to experience. There's a lot of dignity lost in it, and there are a lot of people who work for the city who are dealing with things that were not at all what they signed up to be dealing with. There are people whose job is to mow the lawn and be in our parks who are dealing with things that you and I maybe can only imagine. And I think that our whole approach to that needs to be evaluated. But we absolutely need to make sure that our employees, no matter what department they work in, are able to process and deal with the things they see working on our behalf in the city of Missoula. And that goes for everybody.
Well, I think a good example of how to be conscious after a complaint like that is brought up is the way in which this event was structured. when you structure an event or you structure a meeting or you structure your workplace with communication where you contain what is expected, then people are less likely to say things. And when they do say things, they know that they're inappropriate. Right now, I know what's inappropriate because you added structure. So at the end of the day, like, we all get to practice together being in this city together. You know, we have a lot of people that go out and are on the construction sites. Construction sites are not like office jobs. They're running their mouths, they're cursing at each other, and that's how they show love. And so if we don't understand how people show love, then we're going to think they hate us. So I think sometimes we just need to understand that some people show love by saying, hey, I did your mom, or whatever it is they're saying. I have a son that works construction, so I'm sorry.
That would be a discouraged comment, I guess, from one city. So, you know, the question was about homelessness and training, and it was really about training, and there's a lot on sheltering that I'm going to set aside for another answer. But on training, we are ramping up our justice, diversity, equity, and inclusion training, which is extraordinarily important to make sure that everyone feels welcome, everyone feels supported, everyone feels like they have a place, or that, like, they can thrive within the organization. That kind of training is really important for how employees interact with themselves and interact with the public. I think having a well-trained city workforce is extremely, it's a public-facing service industry. The local government is a service industry, and making sure that our employees are equipped with the tools they need to work through, you know, to work with a diverse batch of members of the public, but also to do so in a way that's highly appropriate, and also that they have tools and resources if they encounter something traumatic, and are able to deal with those situations.
Thank you. Yes, I would support training in terms of sensitivity training as well as cultural competency, because we do have a disproportionate number of Indigenous people that are homeless. In terms of about 30% of our homeless population are Native and Indigenous, and then having trauma-informed care and an approach to working with folks that are houseless is essential. I have to share a story. I walked down to Lions Park back in July when that was being moved along, and the care and the compassion that came from a representative from the police department, a police officer, code compliance, and parks department was extraordinary. And you should know that. It was actually impressive. And there was our community care team, that's Partnership Health Center, and folks that represent the fire department with the mobile support team. And these people are familiar with the folks that are living down in Lions Park and now being moved to somewhere else. And they truly care and are also ripped apart by what's happening to these folks every day. And so that's something that we have the opportunity to work with people's compassion.
Short answer is yes. For those of you that don't know, my office is across the street from the Mayoral Center. I interact with the houseless on a daily basis. I will say, yes, we need some more training. However, the police department, the city department, you say boo, but I'll tell you what, there's some police out there that have come in on their own time, their own dollar, and fix cars for people that are houseless so that they can move on or get a job. The first responders have been amazing that I've dealt with. The city workers that I've come down there show so much compassion, you wouldn't believe it. So yes, there's room for improvement always, but the people that are dealing with this right now have a lot of compassion, and I give them a lot of credit.
Thanks everyone for being here. Quick check on, can everybody hear this mic? Awesome, okay. This one's a little bit quieter, so. The second audience question that we drew from our beautiful pink cowboy hat is, outside of policing, what is your vision of public safety in Missoula?
Well, I think for the most part, public safety is us getting along and having conversations together, and when we disagree, having the ability to say so. Everything outside of our own little conflicts that we create in our areas is crime that they can keep track of a lot easier if we all learn to get along on a shoulder-to-shoulder level. And some of us, I don't know, some of us, we say things that are stupid. Like the other day, I did not say they, and a lot of people got mad at me. But you know how many times I've been corrected to ask me to say they? What?
The way you say things.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I can't stand next to people that I love because I don't say things correctly sometimes. So my whole point to running is that we're all part of the same community, and we all want to feel part of the same community. And to start doing that, we all have to make a decision to be a part of the same community.
Well,
Devin.
my answer to public safety is to invest in early childhood and wait 30 years. But we've got some really good alternative response units coming up in the city. We have our mobile support team, which is within the fire department. This is a social worker and a paramedic that responds to people in crisis. Maybe someone experiencing addiction, someone with an untreated mental health issue, and they're able to respond in a non-law enforcement way and really divert law enforcement for what it really should be for, and deal with someone in crisis, help someone in crisis get to a more stable position. The Crisis Receiving Center is going to be opening this fall. That's a 16-bed drop-in center for someone in crisis where they can come and stay and get care and get stabilized. I think things like this are really key to our public safety. And again, I'm not joking about early childhood. We need to invest in our people, and we need to invest in our communities, and that's going to take time.
I agree. My vision for public safety is that we are investing in the systems that support people so we actually have opportunities for people to flourish. And so that means early childhood education and also after school care as well. We are building neighborhoods that support the healthy children and healthy adults. We are making sure that folks have access to physical health care and mental and behavioral health care. We are making sure that people can afford a home and that they have a healthy home to live in, and so that we are reducing the causal issues of violence to begin with. That's my vision for public safety.
Yeah!
Everybody's right here. The early education is a big key. Doesn't help us now. I mean, if we could all just treat each other like the way you wanted to be treated, things would go a long ways. Post or after school education, I just had I hate to say this, my 40-year high school reunion, and we did a big fundraiser, and we raised over $3,000 for after school education and stuff for the after school programs in the high schools. So.
I would echo the comments about early childhood education and also housing, because if we can address some of the root problems that cause those that kind of feeling of insecurity, we actually go to a lot of the issues, and I think that's a big part of it. We also need to face the here and now, and there are ways that as a community we can invest and interact with people that maybe isn't intimidating. I think that the mobile response team is a huge step forward for the city of Missoula. It is one of those programs I referenced that's funded by ARPA dollars right now, but we are going to need to figure out how to make sure it stays in our budget, because those programs are making a difference. And that program allows people to have an outcome that isn't just jail or the hospital. And that makes a huge difference in people's lives. And those are the things we need to do.
Thank you for answering our surprise audience questions, and thank you to folks in the audience for submitting your questions. We're going to take a really quick break and set up for our hot sauce testing / spicy question answer.
Yeah!
So yeah, feel free to take a break, step outside. We'll be back in 5. We'll be back in 5.
I also want to note that if you did not hear your audience questions, we will be adding more audience questions to to the game. So we will be asking more audience questions. Yeah, if you want to go down and take a drink on us, you can.
Andrea, just go get a shot.
quick synopsis of the game. I don't know if any of you have ever seen Hot Ones. But we're going to be doing something very similar today. Basically, we're going to have each candidate take a seat in the hot seat. One of us will also be on the other side of the hot seat because we are here to offer support. But what will happen is, for each wing, it goes in order of spiciness. We're going to have some sillier questions for this first one, the spiciest question at the end. I will say candidates do have the option to opt out of the spiciest. It is significantly, I think, more spicy. I'm a little bit of a wimp when it comes to spice. A couple of these are spicy, but this one is pretty spicy. So, but if you do opt out of the spiciest, you have to answer our hot pepper questions, one of our hot pepper questions. Otherwise, you will just answer a question from the hat. What will happen is after we put sauce on a wing, I'm going to have folks, including us, take a couple bites, swallow, and then we will ask you the question and you will have a minute to answer it. And yes, like I said, it will get spicier with time. Brandi has so graciously offered to go first. Will be matched by Izzy.
Yeah! Let's go, Izzy!
Arm wrestle! We are also putting out some cups. We are going to put out some milk. Kalispell creamer. Oh, I should also say all of these hot sauces are from Western Montana. A few that are local here to Missoula, Montana, but we also do have a couple hot sauces that are in Big Fork in Columbia Falls. And so, yeah, we will definitely, if anybody is curious which hot sauces we are using, we can go through as we go. But we're really excited. If you want to go ahead, Brandi, if you want to go ahead and dash some of this sauce. And we're gonna. Yes, we did ask consent and dietary restrictions before we said this here. Everybody has their own wing basket. We are asking y'all to douse the wing. It's not 2 drops, it's a douse.
I'm a huge baby and I'm going to do it too.
Whoa.
Yes, Brandi.
Go, Brandi! Let's go, Brandi!
Yeah.
Let's go, Brandon!
Brandi. All right. Just take a couple hearty bites. Yeah, you did douse it. So I did too.
Let's go, Izzy!
All right. And then we're going to ask one of our...
Here is your first question. Describe your ideal day off in Missoula.
Okay, so at 6 o'clock in the morning, I walk up Mount Sindel, and I say hi to all of those wonderful people that walk at 6 o'clock in the morning. And when I come back down, I go to Bernice's Bakery, and I sit in that beautiful flower area, and I meditate while drinking my coffee. And then I go smell the herbs at Meadow Street Herb, and buy myself some nice new tea, and then walk around downtown, savoring the beautiful feeling of connection that we have built down there.
We'll let you go first. I'll follow your example.
So we're going to use the rest of this one, or
We can use a new one. We've got enough to do a new one at a time. It's not too terrible yet.
We're going to get silly. We might as well do it.
We might as well do it. right.
All right, are you ready? Cheers.
Yes. C'est la vie.
Okay. We're going to the hat. Some of these are audience questions, some of them are from us. Oh, that's a spicy. We'll wait on that one. That one is spicy. This one's not spicy. All right, we're moving up.
Not.
This is an audience question, so if it feels leading, that's why. It has been disgraceful the way our mayor's office and city council have failed our homeless and renters. Not designating a camp space is particularly shocking. Will you have the guts to name a space for camping if elected?
That is a really, really great question. So here is the thing. We would need a campground. I mean, like, the thing is when you go hiking, when you go backpacking, when you travel, when you go to a destination, there are certain spaces. I will do what I can, but I would rather not have to designate a camp space and make sure that we're doing the things to keep people from camping. That was all I have. I get to be this person, all right? I'm this person.
Valid.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we've got our Huckleberry Ghost.
So good.
I love this one, and I am a huge baby again. So.
Okay. So is this one hot or not hot? It's supposed to be not
Again,
hot.
It's progressive.
it's middle of the road.
All right. Okay.
No. Just with you. Okay. All right.
You got it, Brandi.
Okay.
That's my mayor. My mayor.
A fun fact for the crowd. This is the first time I've eaten meat since I was like 14.
Thank you for this moment.
We don't play here. Alright.
That's crazy.
Say you make a mistake that hurts someone or multiple people. What is your approach to repair?
Oh, that is a good one for me. Wow. I speak sometimes without thinking, and so usually I just have to explain that I was not trying to be an asshole. I admit my fault. I'm a human being. I admit who I am, and I don't hold people to their weird stuff or their missteps. I just walk humbly and authentically. So I think if I make a mistake, I'm not going to hide it. I'm going to say, so I screwed up, and that probably sucked. I tagged Mike today in a post, and he had to tag me because I was trying to leave the community with his quote. But, we got to joke about it, so.
All right. You feeling the spice yet? Yeah. All right. So we've got our flathead cherry bomb. I'll let you. Where can we set the example again?
Okay, so these are the last two? All right.
The last two. Be careful.
Have you drank any of your milk? I think I might have drank some.
No, I'm holding out. I don't
Is
know
there a
why.
rule on it?
No.
We're a bigger I drank some of my milk, so.
Good for you.
Let's go.
I've never seen you drink milk ever.
This is a big night for me.
I love her.
I have to really shake that one.
That one's a little harder.
Really shake it up.
Douse.
Okay, let's do it. We'll go all the way. Are you ready to go all the way? Should we go all the way?
Douse.
Okay. Does that good?
That's like the time I just feel swine and no one thought it was funny. That was hilarious.
Flathead cherry bomb. Here we go.
All right.
We're getting spicier. Hard. All right, Brandi. Here we go.
Yeah, is he?
How you doing
Look at
over
this
there?
one. Oh, that's the spicy.
Save it, save it.
I'm struggling. I will tell you, when I tried these earlier, this last one made me a little dizzy. So it's gonna get fun in here. All right. How does your experience relate to working families struggling with childcare?
Well, so for a good 7 years of my son's life, I was a single mom, and a good chunk of that was going to school. I bought my first home here with a homeward first-time home buyer's loan. I made $32,000 that year.
Wow.
Yeah. So my first time being a single mom in this town has changed quite a bit. But I do know that you have to juggle a lot. You're losing your mind. You get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do your homework, and it's exhausting. But I definitely know where the resources are, when to use them, how to use them, and how to stay out of homelessness.
All right, Brandi, now you have a decision to make. We have 2 roads here. We can go for the spiciest sauce and continue to ask a relatively spicy question, or you can opt us out and we can ask you one of the hot pepper questions.
Okay, so I am the kind of person that likes my edge. I'm a little bit of it. I'm like, let's go all the way in. What is the in? All the way in. Let's go. Whatever you like, yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right.
And then you get to avoid the spicy
Okay.
question.
Okay. So I'm covering my chicken. I think this one's clean still. Okay.
This one's gonna really put me through.
My mare.
Leave some hot sauce for the rest of them.
All right.
Okay. You're like, you're obviously, you're.
This is literally right. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay. I heard this.
Drink the milk.
Yeah. Yeah, this one is
Leche.
all right, Brandi. One more for you.
How you doing, Brandi?
That wasn't words.
I'm good.
All right, I think you're gonna like this one. There have been proposals to change the rules in City Council around public comment. What do you think the balance should be between decorum and free speech?
Oh, I love this question. Oh, yeah, it is like, let me tell you about this because my mouth's burning. So, this is a perfect question for this experience, actually.
I think so.
So here's the thing. When people go through stuff, they have emotions.
Yeah.
And when people show up to city, I think I'm drooling. When people show up to city council, they usually are passionate. I mean, we don't go there because we're bored or like, I'm going to go give you my boring opinion. You're there, you're like, I just saw someone get totally messed over and I'm going to let you know in the most emotionalist way possible. And that doesn't happen. You get up there and you're passionate and you say it the way that it is. So I think that, and I have observed, everyone here does pretty good at listening to everyone tell us how they feel about policies and the city's agendas. So thank you guys. Thank you.
Drink the milk. Liberate yourself.
All right, don't touch your face. All right, we're actually going to go in reverse order. Mike, you want to get up here? Also, I got to get somebody else on the side.
You did pretty well. That was the first one. Well done.
Nice.
Yes, thank you. You better
Yeah, good job, Brandi.
You gotta take the vote and finish it, Brandi?
Is that appropriate? Kind of sweet.
Is this a thing? All right, your first question, Mike. Who are your favorite local artists of any kind?
You know, I have a soft spot in my heart for Opportunity Resource, and the work that the folks that work at Opportunity Resource do is incredible. I actually have some of their artwork hanging in my office, and that program's always meant a lot to me. I grew up with an uncle with Down syndrome, so the programs like that that help people find their special place and their purpose are great. So Opportunity Resource. I want to show you every time to make sure that you're thinking I'm appropriately balanced. I can get a panel of that.
It's going to get more and more important as we go on.
You want my opinion, Mike? I do. A little more.
That's an extra spicy. We'll wait. All right. Mike, what is your most embarrassing Missoula memory?
You know, they always say that you should talk about things that embarrass you that people can use. Growing up, I played a lot of youth sports, and not every park in this town has restroom facilities. And so I had to go to the bathroom, so I peed in a bush, and my football team called me Bush Boy. And so, I mean, like, if we're really talking about my oldest and most embarrassing memory of Missoula, that would be it.
All right, number 3.
Because he's literally sitting out right now. Yes. Let's go.
All right.
That's a good one, you're right.
Yeah. Starting to feel
Arthur
like you.
Wayne.
Which one is that?
Arthur Wayne, the Huckleberry.
Huckleberry Ghost. Great.
Nice. Okay. This question. Do you support unions? And if so, how do you live that value?
Absolutely. You know, I come from a proud union family on both sides of my kind of my lineage. My grandfather was a union organizer in Butte. He actually helped start the teachers union in Butte. And my grandfather on the other side of the aisle actually represented Missoula in the state legislature, where he was a huge advocate for unions. And that has kind of come down to us. My mother was a proud member of the teachers union in Missoula for 40 plus years. And I have tried in this campaign, wherever possible, to use union services, union printers. I wish there was a union printer in Missoula. That is something we should all work together on. Yeah. It's a huge thing for local politics and a lot of other things.
Thank you. All right, we got number 4.
Flathead cherry bomb. Right. Is that appropriate? We good there? Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, Brandi set a standard up here. Well, that one's a good one too. There's some great local hot sauces I wasn't aware of.
You can get all those at Rock and Rudy's also. All right. What do you think the minimum wage in Missoula should be, and why?
You know, I've come a long way on this topic. I think the minimum wage, we are seeing that it is being dictated by workers and what they're willing to take. I think that's great. But I think we need to see the minimum wage federally raised well above where it's at, because the fact that it's something like $7.45 or whatever it is nationally is ridiculous, and it needs to be up there in the $15 an hour wage minimum, but I think people should be paid what they're worth.
All right, are you gonna do the?
Oh, we're doing the
final?
I told you, Brandi set a standard, so I'm not going to be the one to knock it.
Douse it! Douse it!
Douse.
You know, when Brandi was going, I thought she was kind of shaking at the last one, and now I feel like I'm shaking at the last one. It didn't feel like it was that hot, but
Cheers.
cheers.
Yeah, no, I won't be here.
Kind of tangy.
You guys know how much, so entertaining.
All right, Mike. What scares you the most about being mayor?
You know, I think that's a great question. I don't know that if it's what scares me about being mayor, but there are a lot of people in Missoula right now that are struggling. And, you know, that's something that I don't think anybody up here takes lightly. And we're all in this because we want to help. And the reality of our systems and some of the constraints we have is it is impossible to help everybody all the time. But I want Missoula to do the right thing. And I want us to make sure and not be afraid of the fight when we need to take it, not be afraid to push things even if the state's telling us no. And I guess I would say I'm scared of letting people down, but we're going to work hard every day to prevent that.
Shawn, you're up next.
Good work. Good job.
No pressure.
Yeah, it's over there.
I don't want to start there.
I'm okay.
Those questions on the side are for the first question. Yeah.
They must really build something that's here.
Well, there you go.
All right, so we'll start with the least spicy one.
Yeehaw. Nice. There we go.
Say so for the other candidates.
I have two favorite shows. I have Hot Ones and Good Mythical Mornings. So dink it and sink it.
Yummy. Okay.
Anybody got a napkin?
All right, this one is intended to be a lighthearted one, but it's kind of spicy. Who was your first crush?
After Farrah Fawcett. It's funny because we just had our 40-year reunion, and Tricia Byfield was my sweetheart crush in high school that I never got to go out.
That was sweet.
This one's going to be good. It's going to have all the sauces on it. What do we got here? Habanero.
Just start down.
All right. Oh, this one don't come out very good.
Yeah, we alternated the lid types.
Yeah.
Very odd.
What would you do if I just took the spout?
Power to you. I got more milk.
Sink it and sink it.
There we go.
Hey, what's that?
Clean her up, Shawn.
Yeah.
No wing left behind.
Respect the bird.
If you weren't running for mayor, who would you vote for?
One of the other candidates?
Answer the question. Valid. That's a good answer. We didn't hear the answer. What was the question?
Andrea Davis. My son does their website for Arthur Wayne.
Oh,
We need one of those.
Trying to help you. I'm trying to help you.
okay.
Fuck yeah.
Wow, get in there. Wow. That's powerful. No, you ate. You ate for sure.
All right, we've heard this one before, so maybe you had some time to think on it. Say you make a mistake that hurts some people. What's your general approach to repair?
I've been doing my current job for over 17 years. You make a mistake, you own it, you apologize, and you find a solution to work on fast. That's all you can do. We're all human, we all make mistakes.
Can you make a quick request for Shawn to speak into the microphone? Thank you.
Apologies. Everybody get that?
All right, we're on our second to last hot sauce. Flathead cherry bomb. Says
Want some ranch?
on it. I'm good. I got my milk.
All right. See, this just ain't right.
It's like you've been practicing.
I do have to admit that over the weekend, me and my son-in-law did a 2 million Scoville potato chip. That was hot.
It says you're using terminology.
I'm not even trying to keep up at this point.
Waste not, want not.
How does your experience relate to working families struggling with childcare?
So, when I first moved back to Montana, I bought a restaurant in 2000.
What restaurant?
About six, it was called the Salad Bar and Sandwich Company downtown. 6 months after me and my wife bought it, we ended up getting divorced. I ended up with sole custody of my kids, and due to financial situations, my 10 and 11-year-old kids had to get up for work. I had to be to work at 4 o'clock in the morning to open the restaurant, and so they had to get up on their own for school, get themselves to school. We didn't make enough to qualify for lunches, so I made them lunches for school. So I know very well the hardships of raising a family in this town.
Thank you. All right. So you know where we're at now. I'm guessing. Yeah. I'm guessing you're doing the spicy one, but another option is to do something spicy in a different way.
How about we do both? So this one's got just about every sauce on it already. There's no lid on that one.
Let's go, Shawn! Don't touch your eyes!
A little weak there.
I know.
I know.
Showing off at this point.
They say if you got it, pull on it.
Okay. Improvise a performance about your love for Missoula.
Coral, baby.
Feel free to stand up.
Improvise my love for Missoula.
In a performance.
In a performance.
Let's go! Yeah!
Interpretive dance.
Could be singing, could be dancing.
I failed drama in high school.
Stand up.
Now's your time.
Yes.
Retention.
You've had it in you all
You guys
along.
better get one of these.
Woo! Woo!
So, my morning starts at 5:15. I get my sweats on. I hike the I'm at the trail by 6. I'm down by 6:45. In the shower, at work by 7:30.
Perfect.
I sit at the desk most of the day.
We don't dream of labor.
I did that a while ago. Let's see.
Dance for us.
What was that? Oh. Sure, you don't want to be put on the spot.
You asked for it.
After work, it's home, study for things like this, campaigning, walking door to door. Talking to a lot of people. If I'm lucky, I get to bed by midnight, and we start it all over again.
Yeah.
Call it what you will.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys want to rock, paper, scissors, or?
Process-based concerns.
Look at that. Good problem
1,
solving.
2, 3, shift. That's a drink. Okay. When then 1, 2, 3, shift. 1, 2, 3, shift. Okay. All right.
Bureaucracy, am I right?
Oh.
Hey.
You did not tie it. No, you lost. Let's go, Andrea.
Sneak peek of what's going to happen next is that we're going to ask for an intrepid audience member to match up with Mayor Hess here. So, we're not going to pick yet, but if you're down to eat some wings and ask some spicy questions, this could be you.
Hello, Andrea. How are you? I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Me too. Okay, let's start. We're starting with, again, the Sticky Stinger Rock and Heat Hot Sauce made here in Missoula.
Woo!
Hey, show some local people.
Go great!
Right.
It's tasty. Thank you.
shuffle these cards. Got this. Okay, starting with a lighthearted question. What songs/artists have you had on repeat during your campaign?
Well, I gotta be honest. This is hard for me right now because of what she's going through. But it's been Lizzo about damn time. But now it's unfortunate that there's this whole controversy that's going on.
Yeah. Thanks for your honesty.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, we've got that El Chopo Cantina from Big Fork, Montana. Take it away. Never been here to El Chopo. All right. That one's pretty vinegary.
Okay, all right.
I don't know. Can we have some meaningful policy discussions, please? I'd like the hot sauce shit.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's why we're all here, right?
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry this isn't a meaningful policy question, but it is asking you what your most embarrassing Missoula memory is.
Prove my point.
You can leave.
We just did that for like an hour, man. So
This is part of the agenda.
I'm curious of this.
Okay.
Also, if you don't like it in there,
I'm gonna eat this right now. My most embarrassing Missoula moment. Am I gonna actually tell this out loud? I don't know if I should.
yeah.
Oh, I bet you think I should. So, back in the day when I was a wait staff at the Doubletree Edgewater, and a friend of mine that's here, we were all fellow wait staff, and you get off work late, so you go to a bar, you're with your friends. Well, people teased me to no end to go shopping next door. If you know what that is. So I did. And the next day, my friend called me and said that there was a recall on the item I bought because somebody had told that person what I bought, and I fell for it. Thank you for your bravery. You're welcome. I mean, I'm not telling you what I bought, but pretty good.
All right, let's do.
I know that was spicy.
That was spicy.
That was spicy. We liked it.
I like it.
We're back in our middle sauce, Arthur Wayne hot sauce, huckleberry.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, and not.
Hey. Yeah, keep doing this. There's enough for Jordan, so that's good. Yeah. Great. Oh my God. Woo! A good chicken one. Shout out to the union.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here is a question from the audience. It has been disgraceful the way our mayor's office and city council have failed our homeless and renters. Not designating a camp space is particularly shocking. Will you have the guts to name a space for camping if elected?
Yes.
Yeah! That was the precisely right line.
All right.
Thanks. All right, we're almost towards the end.
Okay.
Blind Flathead Cherry Bomb hot sauce.
It really does build it up.
Yeah, here we are. I've been in Montana too long, I can't eat hot things anymore.
Yeah?
But I love it.
Until tonight. Happy to be here.
Anticipation.
Seriously.
You should be up here.
All right. Another audience question. Do you support unions, and if so, how do you live that value? For example, do you hire union workers when you can?
Thank you for that question. Yes, I support union workers. My mother also was a union employee for almost my whole life. And at Homeward, we have done our best to hire union workers, and we can't always afford it because of the budgets that we have to deal with on a low bid project, unfortunately. And that ends up, we have had negotiations with local labor unions about how we can make that work differently, and have the opportunity to do some apprenticeship there. I try to seek out local union work when I can, and when it's not local union work, I try to support local businesses as much as I possibly can.
Thank you. Okay, everybody. Thanks for being here. Are you ready for our last sauce?
Yes.
It's spicy.
Yellow scorpion pepper sauce.
Okay. Do you want to answer a spicy question also?
Yes, I feel like that's why we're here.
You can go.
All right. I'm gonna be careful about this.
Douse.
Protect your peas.
I'll do it with you.
All right. Yes. I'm scared.
Okay. All right. Great. You get to improvise a performance about your love for Missoula.
My love for Missoula. Like what I love to do here? Or anything?
It's expressive. Allow yourself to feel it.
Well, since I have a microphone, I do love to sing karaoke. One of my all-time classics is Gloria Gaynor, "I Will Survive," or Dolly Parton, "9 to 5." You choose.
9 to 5! I will survive.
Oh, fantastic!
A word, this is a word.
I know.
I feel like this is set up.
You actually have it on recording? I mean, we don't have to do the whole thing.
One person chorus.
Yeah, is this?
No objection.
This is not part of your time.
We all went through so you got extra.
You get 1 minute of 9 to 5.
Okay. No, you get 1 minute.
I want work 9 to 5.
Yeah, exactly. You're a union job, man. Woo! You got this?
Are you getting tunes and everything?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
It didn't work?
Do it. Do an acapella.
Okay. Okay, you remember how the song goes? Remember the movie? Dun, 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 dun. I'm working 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. It's a game too high. It's a way with no giving. It's something like that. I really need the karaoke machine. No. Crazy way you live 9 to 5.
You did great. We loved it.
All right, we're reaching our final candidate hot ones now. As you know, we are looking for an audience member to volunteer.
Gwen!
I don't know I don't know how to choose. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna
Should they rock, paper, scissors each other?
yeah, or I could just come as close as
Wrap yourself up.
you, Aaron.
One more round.
Yeah.
Ask my question.
No, I need to think about it.
It's the thing to check off the bucket.
Yeah, for the slicers. Yes. And then there are the rest of them is like whatever.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, cool.
Fine. I'm sorry, my grandma. We have a worthy champion in here today.
I like
Me too.
Well, we're in the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll want to douse your wings
Okay.
with the first sauce.
Huzzah.
Go ahead if you need any help, let me know.
Oh. Yes! Wait, is that the mouth?
No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, the lighthearted question.
I'm ready.
What song/artist have you had on repeat during your campaign?
Well, I haven't really had much this campaign, but my very first council campaign, it was We Built This City on Rock and Roll by Starship.
You definitely feel it more as you start to talk.
It gets better, don't worry.
Oh, can't wait.
It gets easier.
Yeah.
I haven't eaten in way too long though, so this is good.
Cheers.
That's really good.
Sorry.
There have been proposals to change the rules in the city council around public comment. What do you think the balance should be between decorum and free speech?
I think free speech is a central part of our democracy. It's a central part of our identity. It's something that should be upheld and protected. I also think that one of the things we need to do is protect the rights of the minority. And when people come in and use loud, threatening, abusive language, it makes it so that other people feel less comfortable coming in, and it has a chilling effect on the ability for people to engage. So I think it's really important that we're open, that we allow people to come in, that we support them coming in, that we support them expressing with frustration, but we've got to protect the right for people to feel comfortable and feel welcome to come and participate. Oh, go ahead, after you.
Well, thank you.
That was a good one. See, I won that. That was a really good one.
How does your experience relate to working families and struggling How does your experience relate to working families struggling with childcare?
I have a restaurant childcare story myself. My parents moved to North Dakota before I was born and opened a fast food restaurant. They had a Taco John's restaurant, and I had there was no there was no childcare. They both worked in the restaurant. My mom opened, my dad closed, and one of them was almost always there. And my sister and I had cribs in the back room because there was no childcare. And we just grew up in the restaurant. And it was formative, but we didn't have childcare then, and it's still a problem, and we have to work on it. I've always wanted to be the kind of mayor that you'd go out and have a glass of milk with.
Brown milk for everyone.
That's my good.
He has jokes.
You all are crazy.
White boy can't take the heat.
Yeah. Cherry plus fire.
Fire. Oh, interesting.
What would you change about Missoula?
People, our fire chief has an expression that people hate the way things are and they hate change. I actually disagree with that. I think our community is lovely, and I think that what I would change about it is I would make it more inclusive, I would make it more fair, I would make it more welcoming, I would make it more supportive, I would make it more open, and I would make it lift people up. I think we're a great community, and I would just emphasize all the things that are great about our community.
Yeah!
Oh, I'm sorry, that one's all gone.
Are you doing spicy sauce and spicy question?
Well, I feel like a precedent has been set, and now I'm
You could opt out. Or can you?
There is some out.
I think they told you in the beginning that there was an out, but it was never clarified.
Yeah. I think
You're in too deep now. Yeah. We can't have another digging.
It's not too bad.
You got really good players.
Well, that's going to develop, though.
Question will come momentarily. Do you support Councillor West's amendment to remove anti-racist language from the Chinese cemetery resolution? Why or why not?
Oh, that's a tough one. So why it's a tough one is that I believe we need and Paul, I'm so grateful for what you did to bring that forward and to I think that interpreting our history is incredibly important. I think it's really a rich. The interpretation of the Chinese cemetery is an important way to look at terrible transgressions in our history. I think that that some of what happened in some of the current day political stuff that was referenced in that is reprehensible. I think it is to be condemned. I think that I would separate that from the interpretation. I would have the interpretation be about the historical event, be about the historical trauma, and I would fight like hell to change our politics. Bow, 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 bow.
Thank you all for sticking around for our candidate game. Top one. I will say,
We're gonna allow each candidate to give a 1 minute, or actually, let's do 90-second closure. And anything you didn't get a chance to say that you really want folks to take away regarding policy, regarding other things that we didn't get a chance to speak on today, feel free to do so. I also want to reiterate, this election for the primaries is on September 12th. If you need to update your voter registration, you need to do so at the county elections office. We have some forms downstairs we can give you, but you will need to turn it in yourself. That's on the corner of Russell and Wyoming. We also want to give a huge thanks to Union Club Bar and Grill for letting us do this event here. We love the Union. And we're so excited to be able to share this time with you. And hopefully some of the candidates will be sticking around. If you have specific policy questions, you can definitely give them at the end. And because we are running over time, we are going to go ahead and go into our candidate closings. And does anybody care about going first? I guess, Jordan, since you went last, you want to go first for this one?
Still got the spice in your mouth.
Yeah, well, you still got the spice in your mouth.
Yeah, that is really quite nice right now. So, but I love this job, I love the job because I love the community, and it's fun to go to work and to just do a little bit every day to try to make our community a little bit better place, and that is it's just an honor and it's a privilege, and to get to work with all of you and to get to work with all of our city staff and to get to try to move us in a positive direction. I think we're at a crossroads. Our world is a really challenging place right now. We have climate crises by the week that are worsening and more regular. We have deepening inequality, income inequality in our community. We have housing crisis. We have a housing crisis that has its own challenges. We have a state legislature that is hell-bent on taking away rights rather than fixing property taxes or doing things that actually lift people up. So we've got a tall order, but the work is important, and when we work together, there's nothing we can't do. And that is fundamentally what I believe about this work, is that when we come together, we can do so much more together. We are so much more than the sum of our parts. And and we get to do things like eat hot sauce in front of strangers. And so thank you for your time tonight. Thank you for listening. And please don't hesitate to reach out anytime. I'm always happy to visit.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. I want to thank Forward Montana for hosting us tonight. This was really a fun opportunity, and I really appreciate the amount of energy and attention that has been on this race. And as was said earlier, we have a very strong mutual respect for all candidates, and it's very refreshing. And I hope that we can really turn the political tide. At least we set our own path here in Missoula that way, in terms of staying issues focused and looking forward. So I really am looking forward to the opportunity to having engagement with citizenry, to have that opportunity for shared leadership. And it's true, like Mayor Hess said, we are in some really challenging times in our world, in our society, and Missoula too. We had a very long, wonderful mayor that got sick and died abruptly, and then right after a pandemic. And we have a city staff that's really managed a lot, and it's an opportunity for us, I think, to have fresh perspective in terms of different kind of leadership, and that's what I'm excited to offer. And I'm excited to work with every single one of these folks that are here, running to serve in the mayoral role. One thing that we know is it's going to be an amazing job, and it's going to be hard. I really think that it's going to be a difficult job. But you don't start out on this path thinking it's going to be easy.
Sorry, the hot sauce went to my head.
I'm good. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter.
Okay. All right. And I'm not going to follow the typical structure. You know what, Missoula? We just had a massive amount of stuff hit our town from the nation. And we held conversations for a nation on topics that have not even been held before. And all of you have been right there protecting these topics. And so at the end of the day, like, bravo. Like, you know, we have the Missoula's departments, the city of Missoula, most people that are working there have been there for so long. You know, for me to not address all of the policy in the second, they're still going to be doing their job, their feet are still on the ground, and things are going to move forward. But you guys are amazing. You guys have shown up to thing after thing after thing after thing to make sure that the space is held and people are heard and that we're all coming together and connecting and being this wonderful, inclusive place that we are. And you make it this town. Every single person. We have a massive amount of community groups that love what they do, and they do it well. And you connect, and you grow, and this was a great event. Did you see that turnout? Amazing.
Yeah!
Thank you for being part of Missoula and making this place the inclusive place that it is. Sometimes people are assholes. I think asshole things sometimes because, well, I just don't think to stop and not say asshole things. And I'm sorry for that. But my point is that we all love each other. Bow, 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 bow!
Yeah!
All right. I really do want to thank everybody for being here and participating. You know, the great thing about local elections is we get to know each other. And if you don't know the candidate, you know someone who knows the candidate. And, you know, I have the privilege of knowing several of the folks up here fairly well. And I think that, I've said this already, but we are lucky to be having a good conversation. And I think that one of the things that's been great about this, and Andrea referenced it, is it's been a civil conversation. And I think that it's a good reminder that we can participate and we can all talk about ways to make change, but we're all working towards the same goal, and that's making Missoula better. And it's been rewarding to see so many people engaging, not only in my campaign, but in all of yours as well, because that's how this is supposed to work. And the best thing that you all can do is go out of here and tell your friends and tell your family that they need to vote. Because people have to participate in local elections, because local government is what impacts your life the most. And it's a good problem to have more than one person you like in a mayor's race. That being said, I'd love your vote. Go to our website to learn more. Thank you all.
Yeah!
Amazing turnout. Thank you, Forward Montana, for hosting this. And thank you all for showing up and being part of this. It's an amazing experience. Missoula is a community, and it doesn't operate without all of you and all of us. So we all need to work together to get things done. There's a lot of work to do. It's a scary future we got in store for us. The world has gotten so polarized between right and left. Nobody wants to talk to anybody. The five of us want to talk to everybody. So that we can come to an agreement that helps Missoula move forward. Because the last 20 years we go left, we go right, we go left, we go right. We're never moving forward. We need to get on a path moving forward.
Well, thank you, Shawn, Mike, Brandi, and Jordan and Andrea for all being here today. We are so excited to have been able to host all of you. We're also so excited. Thank you all for coming today. Open to hearing feedback about how to make these spaces even more accessible than we already are. I do want to shout out that we are going to be coming out with voter guides very soon regarding our mayoral race and also city council race. Also, we're going to be having a public safety mill levy on the ballot this year for the general election, and we'll be disclosing kind of what all that means. So be sure to go to forwardmontana.org. We'll have some physical copies, but we'll also kind of have an extended guide online. Otherwise, thank you all so much for being here. We are so excited to engage with all of you and looking forward to for seeing you all out in the community, hearing your thoughts about how we can better be engaged community members, and also I will say as a note, please, if you don't leave your trash here. Be cool. And thank you all so much. I think some of the candidates, I don't want to speak for all of them, maybe sticking around if you have any particular questions for any of them. You can try to catch them before they leave. Otherwise, Forward Montana will be at our tables to answer any questions. You can find out how you can get involved if you want to do things like canvas for getting out the vote this season, or if you want to do things like volunteer with us. We are always looking for people who are ready to engage, and like I said, the more brains we can put together to really understand how we can better show up as a community together and really meet the needs of everybody in our community, we're all going to be better for it. Thank you.
Thank you.
What? Again, we have voter registration forms. You will have to turn those into the county elections office if you want to vote in the primaries. Those are downstairs. Come see us. We also have cool as hell zines made for and by queer, trans, two-spirit Montanans that we make every year, featuring art and writing and poetry, etc. And they're all free. Please take one. But yeah, spread this news along. Thank you, Instagram Live. I just licked the mic. Sorry. But good thing no one has to use that for me. But thank you all so much for being here today. And we'll see you downstairs. Woo!